Okay, this is a meatball sub soup, and it's really tasty, and it's really fun to make, and it's very easy to make. So let's get started. You need a pound of ground beef. This is 85/10. You need a half a cup of breadcrumbs. I'm going to use panko in this. If you have Italian breadcrumbs, you could use that as well. I'm going to just put some Italian seasoning in it, a teaspoon of that. So let's just drop that in. A half teaspoon of salt. This is kosher salt. If you're using table salt, you want to use a quarter teaspoon. This is a half teaspoon. I find that table salt is saltier than kosher salt. Let's use a pinch of red pepper flakes. Okay, and we're gonna just stir these. We're gonna stir this up, and we're gonna make some meatballs out of it, right? So you just need just kind of a rough stir. You don't even need an egg in this, okay? In the meantime, I've got a cast iron skillet behind us. I'm going to go ahead and turn that on and get it cranked up and start getting some heat on it. All right, so I'm going to pour a little olive oil in the pan, in my cast iron skillet, because I'm just going to fry these up just a little bit, okay? This is very simple. It's a great weeknight meal. It comes together in about 30 minutes, okay? So, meatballs, I'm going to go ahead and drop those in, get them going. Again, almost all of this stuff, as we go through this, is going to be in your pantry. And that's kind of my favorite thing to do, is to find things that you can make at home that you have in the cabinets. You don't have to run to the store. You don't have to do all of that stuff, because every time you put down a recipe, you'll look at it and say, well, I'm missing this, or I don't have that, and I have to run to the store. That makes life difficult, okay? You want to be able to cook in the pantry with what you have. And sometimes, if you're just making this for a weeknight meal for the family, you can substitute things, okay? So if you have Italian breadcrumbs, use Italian breadcrumbs in this. You know, I don't have any today, so guess what? I'm just using regular panko breadcrumbs, which are Japanese breadcrumb. And let me rinse off my hands here from that beef. You're gonna let that brown up just a little bit. As it browns up, we're gonna start our sauce that this is gonna simmer in and cook in. So, and this comes together very quickly. So here's what you need. Cup of half and half. It's going to make it very creamy. A half cup of Parmesan cheese. A couple cloves of garlic. So I use this garlic. This comes from Trader Joe's. It's frozen. I had a lady one day tell me, you know, she wrote in and she was couldn't believe I was using this. Well, I wrote her back and I said, listen, I've got a full-time job that is not this, has nothing to do with cooking, and I don't always have fresh garlic in the house, so it's in the freezer. These are some parsley flakes, a little oregano, 28-ounce can of tomatoes, and 3 cups of chicken broth. So let's cut our onion up real quickly while we're doing that. You can use a medium onion. I had a large onion, so I just cut it in half. And that way it's ready to go. Just doing that, there we go. And once this gets going and we get these meatballs browned a little bit, then we'll put it in the sauce. They'll finish in the sauce, which is a really great way to do this. This is such a great meal because it comes together and it looks so good. Let's turn the fire on in the back. Get a little olive oil in there in our pan. Get that half and half out of the way for you. And let's put our onions in. Kind of get those going. I'm just going to make all this right in the pan from the beginning. Okay? That way we don't have to keep messing around with things. Let's clean that up just a little bit. Put that right in there. Turn the fire up. So these are starting to brown a little bit, these meatballs, and I'm just going to give them a quick turn. So this is just in my cast iron skillet. Again, it's a pound of ground beef. It's a half cup of breadcrumbs. You can use Italian breadcrumbs if you have them. What I happen to have today, panko breadcrumbs. So I used that and I threw in a teaspoon of Italian seasoning and a half teaspoon of salt. Ready to go, right? That's all I did with it. All right. The Parmesan cheese is actually going to go in the sauce. So I'm going to go ahead and drop my garlic. One clove. Each one of these is a clove. These come frozen, and it just makes it very handy and very easy for you. Okay, that way you always have garlic in the house. I like to have fresh garlic in the house, but I don't always have it in the house. So this just makes my job a little bit easier, and then I ensure that I have it. I'm going to throw a little salt on top of these onions so they can get started real good there. Just a couple pinches, that's all. Might as well throw a little pepper on it while we're at it, right? You'll love this because when this comes out, you put it in a bowl, you melt mozzarella on top with some nice hard bread, and it really is like a meatball sub. You're gonna love it, it's really good. So I'm just browning up my onions, just making them a little translucent, right? Got that garlic going in there, you're starting to really smell it. I can smell the Italian seasoning on my meatballs. These are nice sized meatballs. There we go, give it another flip here, and I'm just browning them kind of on all sides, right? So this made 6 nice size plus 1 for the cook meatball, and so you can serve, you know, a couple people with this and make a nice little meal on a weeknight. You know, if you've got a family of 4, you might want to double this whole recipe, make it a little bit heartier, a little bit more. Okay, so a 28 ounce can of tomatoes. This goes right in the pot, okay, with our onion and our garlic. Okay, those are crushed tomatoes. You can use diced tomatoes. I'm going to give that a stir. All right. A teaspoon of parsley flakes. If I can get this part off of it. See here. Let me get the lid off of that. There it goes. All right. So parsley flakes, if you have fresh parsley, by all means, use it. So that's a teaspoon. Teaspoon of oregano in this. Okay. Let's do 2 pinches of red pepper flakes. 1, 2. It's coming up to a nice little boil right here. Get it all stirred up. And you want to try this as you get through it. You want to try if it's a little bit bitter, maybe, or a little bit off where you could put a little sugar in it. So don't have a lot of salt in there because this is a half cup of grated Parmesan cheese, and I'm just going to put it right in. Stir it up. Okay. Our meatballs are just about ready to go in this. Get it stirred up. Let's give our meatballs a quick turn. I don't want them to get too brown, okay? I just want them to get a little bit brown. Okay, we don't want them crunchy on the edges or anything like that. So I'm just giving this a stir. All right, I'm going to turn off my meatballs. And let's go ahead and put them right in. This is going to take about 20 minutes to finish up. Just burying them in here. I'm going to give you a look at this so you can see what it looks like. Okay, I'm just burying these in like this. All right. So take a look at that. You can see there how they're just laying in there like that, right? And then, final thing, this is 3 cups of chicken stock. You can use beef stock if you want. Just pour it in. Give it a light stir. like that. Okay, be careful with your meatballs. There you go, like that. Not bad, right? So we're going to cook this for 20 minutes or so until it gets done. Then we'll put a cup of half and half in it, and it'll be ready to go, and I think you're really going to like it. There we go. I'm going to turn the heat up on this so it gets a nice hard boil to it and gets going very heavily. Okay. So we'll come back in 20 minutes and finish this up. Okay, clean this up for a minute. Garlic, plus there's some garlic, or there's some mozzarella. There. A couple slices of bread. All right. All right, guys, it's been about 20 minutes. I've picked up just a little bit. Our soup is underway. It is cooking, and it's looking really good. And those meatballs, we pre-made those meatballs. We toasted them up just a little bit in the cast iron skillet. And they were very simply made, okay, with just a few breadcrumbs, a little bit of Italian seasoning, a little salt, little red pepper flake, those sorts of things. Okay, so to finish this out, what we're going to do is we're going to put a cup of half and half in it. If you don't have half and half, you can always use milk, you can use cream, you can use any of those things, okay? So we just pour it in. This is going to add some richness to our soup. All right? Give it a stir. Oh yeah, see, that's looking really nice. Okay, while that's warming up, let's go ahead and turn our broiler on. There we go. Okay, get our broiler on. I've got a little shredded mozzarella right here, okay, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our soup in there, and then I've sliced up just some nice crunchy bread. Okay, we're gonna put that right on top, and then we'll put our mozzarella on there. So let's kind of recap while this is finishing heating up and while our broiler is heating up. This is meatball sub soup. So what it is, it's a pound of ground beef and a half cup of breadcrumbs. You can use Italian breadcrumbs. I've got panko in there because it's what I had in the cabinet. Again, use what you have. If you're making this for company, you might want to go get Italian breadcrumbs. Since you're just making this for the family, throw a teaspoon of Italian seasoning in there. It will be just fine. Okay, so this is sort of like a weeknight meal kind of a thing, right? So we're making this very simple on yourselves. You don't have to run to the grocery store all the time. That's the key to cooking, and that's when you're going to do it. If you have to run to the store for every single recipe, you're not going to do it. So this, I try to have what's in the house, what's in the cabinets, and that way it makes it easy on you, and it comes together quickly, right? I mean, that's just the way to do it, I think. All right, so let's get out our, let me get a ladle for this. If I can find my ladle. I'll do it like this. We'll do what we have to do. All right. So we want a meatball in here, right? These are pretty big meatballs. Oh yeah. You just want to pour this out like this. Okay, just get it going a little bit. I'm going to clean up the sides of this so it doesn't broil out. There we go. Be careful with that broiler on this. All right, throw the bread in there. Throw our mozzarella on it, like this, right? All right, now let's just pop it in our broiler. And we'll broil it up very quickly and we'll be ready to go. I think you're gonna like this for a weeknight meal because it comes together quickly, really in about 30 minutes. The family's gonna love it, the kids are gonna eat it, and it also can keep. So if you want it to be something that you use for later, it's ready to go as well. Okay, so I'm just gonna pop the lid back on that, let it simmer away there. And we'll let this kind of heat up for another second. In the meantime, if you guys like this cooking and you like this stuff, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And that way when I do new videos, it will pop into your feed and you will know about it and you can give it a look. Of course, I love to hear your feedback if you like this, if you don't. Again, this is something that you're making at home just on a weeknight. If you are making it for company, because it really could serve as like a Friday night meal for friends coming over. Maybe you're going to play game night or something like that. If you're doing that, I think I would bring in Italian breadcrumbs into those meatballs. I think I would also bring in, let's see, what else would I put in that to make it just a little bit different. I might use fresh parsley in that. So just, it can be a little bit different. You can make it a little bit fancier. When you're putting garlic in there, you don't have to use the frozen garlic, of course. Use fresh garlic. And that way, it will be a little bit more loved through the whole thing. And I think really love is what makes cooking great. If you take your time and you're cooking through it, I think you're going to find that everything turns out even better, which is really one of the fun things that you want to do. Now, if it's Tuesday night and you just got to get dinner on, different story, right? Let's take a look at how this is going. Okay, so it's looking pretty good. All right. All right, I'll give you an idea of this. What you want this to do is you really want this to brown up and toast up really good. But you take a look. See how nice that is? Just gonna give it a little, just a little taste here. You cut into that meatball, it smells so good. It's creamy, it's nice, it has such a good flavor, and it's a nice hearty evening meal that I think the family is gonna love. Give it a try, let me know what you think.